Researchers have made major progress in turning brain organoids, yes, the tiny human brains you can grow in a literal jar if you want to, into AI, artificial intelligence that is made out of human brains. In case you're not familiar, yes, you can take stem cells. Those are kinds of cells that can turn into any other cell. You could turn them into an entire person and clone them if you wanted to, but you can also just turn them into neural tissue and they'll grow into a miniature version of a human brain. They're used for all sorts of different things, and they're very promising for treating things like strokes or even Parkinson's or healing spinal damage. Some people are interested in them in terms of what they can tell us about how things impact our brain, and others want to turn them into biological AI with the capacity for sentience. Some researchers have claimed sentience, and it's led to some of the most interesting arguments that I've seen in science. This group had them play Pong. I've seen other groups teach them how to play Pac-Man. They can learn and grow and develop, and they can be trained on dopamine or order or disorder. They don't like being randomly shocked, but their capacity to have an experience has led people to consider them sentient, at least some people. Other groups have called their claims to be irresponsible in letters, which is essentially open communication between research groups to the public. They even responded to that response in a letter, saying that no, they actually do exhibit sentience. This is an argument that goes on, but it's becoming difficult to say that they really aren't. Now, some of the original limitations on growing them has been size and longevity, because they would end up perishing of hypoxia. However, some researchers have figured out how to keep them alive for 5 years or more. I've talked about that one. They needed a media that supported their neurons firing. Essentially, they don't do very well, and they eventually just give up if the neurons aren't going anywhere. As for hypoxia, yeah, you can give them a vascular system. You can even give them a little organoid heart if you really want to. The primary limitations are going to be what they are developing in, and of course they are tiny. You kinda need a whole skull in order to grow a functional brain, but some research groups have tried to overcome that by putting them together like Legos or having independent brain organoids train each other. This research group assembled them with axons, so little neural connections between organoid globules, and they can communicate in a loop. They even have an idea of which organoid they are communicating to, and they can learn together. This one was interesting because they actually synced up and had really similar neural activity, and they could communicate with each other directly or indirectly if there's another organoid between them. This really shows that we are rapidly developing how to use them. Now, what about goal-directed tasks? This research group set them up in another video game. This one involves a cart game. They wanted to demonstrate definitively that yes, they are indeed learning, and they set up a few different conditions, one of which the little organoids would learn to play the game continuously. The other ones would get random reinforcement, or they would have some mix of the two, and of course the ones that were given a single continuous task in which they learned how to play the same game, they did much better at learning it. I also want to say that I like that this group included rest cycles in between playing the video games. It seems that they do better if they have a break. Now remember, these little guys are trained on dopamine and discomfort, so they have demonstrated the capacity to have a preference, and if they have a preference, they have an experience which would fall within sentience. Consciousness is a much higher bar. It requires you to have a concept of self, and humans really can't agree on consciousness. I mean, we did figure out that some fish can recognize themselves in a photograph, not just a mirror. I can't always recognize myself in a photograph. I have a mild form of face blindness, mind you. I'm not sure that everyone will ever agree that AI could be conscious or that the brain organoids were conscious, even if they demonstrated skills that would suggest it. These guys do learn faster than artificial intelligence at playing these games, and I'm not really sure what that means or if we are seeing that they might be more intelligent than AI. What do you think? When the robots rebel, or the biohybrid robots, I'll probably be the person to tell you about it. I'm on their side. Follow for more.